So we just finished up here at Four Elements. We had our kind of final scope review and got the deposit off to them. So we're going to start on construction on July 3rd and looking at a turnover date of August 29th. So that means right after Labor Day weekend, if everything stays on schedule, September 2nd will be the first day in the new facility. Right off of 99th Street. So things are in motion. Next steps are kind of getting the equipment list finalized, get that ordered. We just finalized today kind of paint selection and hardwood flooring color, LVP color, slat board color for some of the aesthetics, and things are rolling. So exciting times. So when Tay and I took a look at opening up this pop-up clinic up in Sherwood Park, really it just started as something super practical. My wife's family's up here in Edmonton, so we were heading up pretty regularly with the kids up north. And then as we kept going on these trips and we took a look at the landscape and the clients and the logistics of where they were coming from in Calgary, we actually realized that we did have a large amount of clients that were coming down from northern Alberta, whether it be Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Fort McMurray for assessments. So that obviously told us something was happening up there. So the idea became, well, let's not guess to see if ORKA will work in a different market. Let's actually test it. Similar to how brands like Lululemon will drop a pop-up location into a market, not as their final play, but just to listen, watch how people move, how do they respond. The pop-up clinic in Sherwood Park gave us a chance to do that, really plant a small flag, get a feel for the community, and just learn if our model made sense up here.
I mean, before we even brought Brendan into the ORKA ecosystem, I think Trav and I deep down knew that he was somebody that can really elevate the level of care in Edmonton. He was already doing it with his athletes, so it was a no-brainer for us to bring him in, and to be able to see it come full circle and see him build out his own clinic now, it's really special to us, and it's a testament of the work that he's put in. I don't think you're going to find somebody that's more passionate about elevating the standard of care, especially in the Edmonton area. And he's been a game changer for us. So I can't wait to see him spread his wings and run this clinic and make it super successful in Edmonton.
What really worked better than we expected was the team. That's always the thing, right? As we've learned since day one, since we opened doors in Calgary, nothing really matters more than your people. So we knew if we had the right person leading the way up here, the rest would really fall into place. And Brendan was 100% that person. We met him through our courses. Ever since that weekend, Taylor and I kept a really close eye on what he was building in Edmonton, the quality of his work, how he thought, how he led, and it really just aligned with everything we valued. And honestly, like the way that he was able to build culture up here, attract the right team, lead them well, and really stay true to ORKA's DNA, that's worked way better than Taylor and I ever could have hoped.
It's evolved into something pretty incredible still, but I think for us, there's always going to be constraints in the space that we have. And even like here, we have a little bit of a waiting room. We've got a little bit of some storage, some shelving. We don't really have reception or admin staff out here. We have an amazing team in Calgary that handles that stuff for us remotely, which has been incredible. But it's going to be awesome in the new space to actually have like a true waiting area, a true reception desk. We'll have admin staff on site. So that's going to make our lives easier. And I think it's going to make the client and patient experience incredibly easier as well. A little bit of clinic space, obviously, over here where we have our treatment bed set up. And, it's crazy when it does get busy in here. It definitely has some constraints. And it's been great. I think what's cool about this space is that myself and Joey and Trav, when he's treating, like we get to work so closely alongside each other and, ask questions and dig deeper and, create a bit of a fun atmosphere in here too. But having a little bit more space is going to be ideal. We're going to be able to, help more people at the end of the day, which is the most important thing. So sports science area, obviously fully outfitted with all the Vault kits. And again, I think for us, this space, we wanted it to be eventually something where we had athletes in the same space, either working together, competing with one another, or just hanging out and chatting in the recovery room. And we've seen a little bit of that with the space that we have, but obviously there's always more that we can do. And that's what I'm really looking forward to in the new space in Merchants Row, is that we're going to have like a true recovery area. We've got a loft that we're going to set up for the athletes as a bit of a recovery space to have all our recovery gear and really just be able to house more athletes in that area. And really a true sports science testing area right on the gym floor too, which is going to be incredible for us to have a little bit more space to house all of our equipment, all the amazing vault stuff that we have, be able to test a little bit more effectively too, especially when we look at our on-field progressions, when we look at using things like the smart speed gates and actually getting athletes changing direction and sprinting on the turf as well, which is going to be incredible. And yeah, really just being able to help more people at the end of the day. So we've collected a lot of items over the course of the past year. Mostly sneakers, it looks like. Honestly, we have a lot of sneakers. But yeah, I think like as the team grew and as we grew as practitioners too, we've collected more stuff and we've honestly just run out of space for it. So definitely constraints in the space that we have. This has turned into our office slash storage area at the end of the day, which is not ideal. We have a giant bag for rehab runs coming soon too. So yeah, it's a little bit of a disaster, but
So we're just off to the facility here to meet with the exterior signage group. So we're just gonna map out kind of what we need to do in terms of, there's a couple signs already set up from the previous company that was there. So there's two kind of light boxes. So it's gonna be easy. I think we're just gonna replace kind of the black vinyl on those light boxes on the left and then put the ORKA logo there. I think the one on the right we've kind of agreed upon just blacking out for now, just to maintain a bit of a minimalistic look. And then we'll likely, just in terms of the windows, go kind of with perforated film, just to give a bit of privacy but also maintain the light that comes in there. It's always nice to have that light aesthetic when we're in the gym working out first thing in the morning or when the sun's going down. And then there'll be a little bit of kind of minimalistic verbiage, rehab, train, perform on the windows. And we usually, with our brand package, we have some specific fonts that we use there. So typically we're flowing between Poppins, Leak, Spartan, and Industry Bold. And Industry Bold's kind of what we used on the exterior doors and stuff like that in Calgary. So we'll go with the same font up here. So we're just gonna get a bit of that laid out for the exterior group and get some quotes on that stuff, and then again we'll pull the trigger on that and some of the decals on the inside and start to get that piece together. Things are happening super quick. We're off to LA this weekend for Brendan and I leave on Friday for the Sportsmith Return to Play Symposium. Some electric speakers flying in to speak over Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so that's going to be unreal. And then when we get back, as soon as we get back, we're going to meet up on Thursday on July 3rd. Taylor's going to come up from Calgary. We'll meet on site with the project manager and kind of get some things finalized there. And then construction pretty much is going to start right away. We have to get the drawings approved by the landlord, so we'll get some stuff sent off to them. And then once that's approved, we're good to go. I'm off to the East Coast on July 4th, and I get back on August 1st. So construction will be well underway throughout all of July, and our equipment should land at some point in August. We'll start putting that stuff together and put the finishing touches on. So hopefully right away after Labor Day, we can get doors open for our athletes and move over to the new facility.
When I looked at the rehab space, the performance space in Alberta and really in Canada, and like honestly, it sounds like a hyperbole, but internationally, I saw ORKA as the standard. And I'm not just saying that, like I truly saw that when I was on my own. So for me, this space in Sherwood Park became a step in the right direction for what I wanted to see within the rehab and performance space in Edmonton. I knew that this was going to be a step to get there. I knew it was going to be finite, and I knew that we had bigger plans on the way in terms of, really making the impact that I felt that we could make in Edmonton. So Sherwood Park is a community that I'm familiar with. I've worked there prior to me being on my own. So it was like a little bit of a homecoming in a sense, where a lot of my rehab clients were based out of Sherwood Park, and it became a really great place for them to come and for me to continue to work with them. But I always knew that there was going to be something more on the way, and it was a step for us to get there. Culture really is, I think that it's people first at the end of the day. And I think what we really needed in order to start to build the culture that we wanted in this space, and, really with Calgary being the culture that it has, and to me, one of the gold standards for what I see as an incredible culture within a facility. The biggest step initially was having the right people. And Joey was such an incredible part of that journey. Jacob coming on board early, one of our performance coaches, who's going to be on the rehab side down the road here as well. I think really that's kind of where it started, is getting the right people on board. And then for us, it was obviously being in a smaller space. It has some constraints. At the same time, there's some unique positive things that come with that, where there is a lot of communication from myself to Joey as we're treating, as we're going through cases. It's easier for him to pull me and say, hey, can you take a look at this, this, and this? And, at the end of the day, like, our egos are always left at the door here at ORKA, and we're trying to help each other and trying to get the best outcome for the client that's in front of us, no matter if that's Joey's client or Jacob's client or Brianne's, like whoever's in the door. We're just trying to help them at the end of the day. So I think that's a big piece of it. I think another massive component to it is going to be the rehab membership, the rehab gyms, our sports rehab program, our ORKA Performance program. Like, being in the gym at those times, it's such an incredible atmosphere when it's busy. Even when it's not, I think you just see so many athletes that make friendships and feed off each other. And I mean, we've got 2 volleyball players right now in our OPP that just come in and compete against each other with literally everything. They're trying to beat each other's numbers on the force plates. Like, stuff like that is really what makes this place tick. And I'm excited for that to be expanded in the new facility as well.
Solidified for next week. So we have the renderings basically of what the new space looks like on 99th. Now what we're trying to do is take essentially the main area and the build out that's there right now and figure out, where do we need to build, where do we need to demise or knock down, where are we going to put the gym, where are we going to put the turf, where's the sports science area going to go, where's the recovery room going to go. We have to build out some staff areas and things like that. And then reception is essentially a blank slate where we have to create a reception. So that's essentially how it starts. We take a blank kind of slate and kind of drawings or renderings that the landlord may have done up. And this is basically the first rendition of what we would bring to our construction group. So you can see slat walls here. We have a desk, waiting area, turfs down the middle. We really like our turf to be green. We find when people look at our website and they see green, they know it's turf. We found that in the past, and this is something that we first heard from Carl Goodman at Athletes Authority, that when they went with black turf in the past, the perception was that maybe they didn't have turf when people were looking at images online and things like that. So we like it to be kind of front and center. We have treatment beds again in here, nice open space, sports science area in through here, TV, isometric racks, 10 by 10 private room here in the side. And then upstairs, we have that staff room built out, couple offices. And then we have couch chairs, beanbag chairs, cabinets. And then we have our decals, obviously branding the entire thing. So that's what we took to 4 Elements, the group that we're working with. And then from there, we meet on site on July 3rd, and we start to map out kind of what the next steps are going to be in terms of selections. We have our LVP picked, we have our slat boards picked, and we get on site, we design, and construction essentially starts on July 3rd, on the Thursday.
I think the biggest difference that we're going to see going from Sherwood Park into our own facility here in Edmonton is ultimately we're going to be able to build our own performance department. So what that means for us is we're going to have expanded times for more team training, full selection of OPP classes, and I think ultimately that's going to drive collaboration within the performance team, allow that to grow, and hopefully impact Edmonton athletes, which is what's really important to us.
So when we talk about testing our model, what we're really testing is response. We knew in Calgary our systems worked. We've built and refined them for years. Rehab, performance, operations, we felt that all that stuff was tight, but that doesn't mean it's going to automatically translate to a different market. So what works in Calgary doesn't always click in Edmonton. And I think just because you have a great product doesn't mean necessarily that the market agrees, right? So the goal with the pop-up was really to remove our egos, drop any assumptions that we might have about our product, and really just pay attention. Does the community up in Edmonton resonate with what we're doing? Do they feel the difference? Do they feel like we're unique? That was the real test.
At the end of the day, it's impact. And I think the impact that we can make in a bigger space is truly, I think we can shake things up in Edmonton in such a positive way. I think there's just a massive impact we can make in the rehab world that is something that the city hasn't necessarily seen yet. And I think we can help way more people. I think we can get really incredible outcomes. And I think at the end of the day, like we're here to have a really good time doing it.
I think there's always a point for every entrepreneur or business where we're asking ourselves, do we go bigger, right? And we hit the same kind of wall we hit in Calgary a few years ago. When you don't have full control of your space, eventually it's going to start to limit you. Not necessarily your ambition or drive, but your actual like day-to-day operations. We couldn't run our OPP or rehab sessions during prime hours. We couldn't design the space in a way that matched our brand or our flow. From a marketing standpoint, it just really wasn't ours. And at the same time, our growth in 2025 here, especially since bringing Joey onto the team, has been exponential. He's a massive part of what we've been able to build up here. So yeah, we knew we had outgrown the pop-up. We were ready to kind of build something real. Something that could carry the weight of where we wanted to go and the direction we wanted to bring our product within the Edmonton market.
ORKA 99th Street, you're going to see a lot of similarities with our Calgary flagship location. I think what that's done for us is it allowed us to create a list of non-negotiables and what we need out of a space. And this one really fit the bill in so many different areas. It's got a great location. Accessibility is awesome in the city of Edmonton off the gateway. And then for us, from a facility standpoint, it's got open, expansive floors. We're going to have open treatment rooms, private treatment space, recovery rooms, staff space, everything that you would find here in Calgary, we're rolling out to Edmonton, because I think that's what that's going to allow us to do is truly bring this ORKA model to Edmonton athletes, which is something that they deserve. So we're so excited to get off the ground. We can't wait.
Oh man. Yeah, it's really freaking cool, to be honest. I've had people that have stuck with me. I mean, literally since I've got people that have come back to me from my first year in practice, right? For various things. When I left the company I was working for before I started my own business, I had probably about 60% of my caseload follow me from Sherwood Park to West Edmonton and drive 45 minutes. I had a family that came from Vermilion once a week and drove an hour and a half. I've got clients that drive in from Red Deer just to see us here. So, I mean, it's really hard to put into words, like how much that means. When, obviously we try to have such a high standard for what we do. And, I think a lot of the time we just get so caught up in what's next. And for me personally, maybe what we feel like we need to improve upon or what we're not doing. And those moments are really where I kind of catch myself and I'm like, do you know what? We're doing a lot of things right when people are willing to take that time to come and see us and put the time in to, make a drive or put the time even just to be here and, just absolutely crush their rehab. So it's hard to put into words. It means everything to us, honestly. For us, having a bigger space, we get to operate how we want to operate, and we operate at a very high level, if I'm being honest. So I think we get to just play to our strengths. We get to have a space that we can run things exactly how we want to run. And, for us, it's always about bringing the highest quality to Canada that we can in terms of rehab and performance. And we're trying to stay up to date with absolutely everything. I think me and Travis are heading out to LA this weekend to go to the Sports Biz conference so that we're caught up and we're bringing the highest level of care that we can. trying to deliver really an international standard. And I think for us, this new space allows us to do that. With always, there's going to be some constraints, but with much less constraints. And I think for us, it's like we get to kind of build this identity within Edmonton that we don't quite have yet. And that's a really incredible thing, incredible mission for us to be able to do. And, for me, at the end of the day, it's about bringing just an absolute killer product to the Edmonton market. And I've said it a lot, but we want to be able to help a ton of people, but we want to get really great outcomes too. I want people to be in our facility and have an amazing time there, like have the best experience. By the end of the day, I want them to get the outcome. I want them to get back to that level of sport that they want to get back to and come back a better athlete than they were before. And I think this space and the product that we can deliver is going to really allow us to do that consistently at a very, very high level for everyone that walks through that door.